Well, hello, hello. Nicole Vascape here, and today we are going to talk about questions to ask your wedding caterer. This might be my favorite topic to talk about, and the reason being because I was a wedding caterer for quite a few years, and it was a great experience. It is not for the faint of heart, I will tell you that for sure, but it's a great experience, and in my opinion, as a planner, I can still confidently say that your caterer is the biggest entity of your wedding. They have the majority of your budget goes into the caterer, or a big chunk of it, and they are the ones that are in charge of everything. So toasts and food and tables oftentimes, and linens and forks and napkins and ice, and all of those little things come from your caterer. So you want to be really, really confident when you are hiring your caterer, and also know what to expect. So that being said, I'm going to go over my top 6 questions to ask your wedding caterer. Number 1, do they own the tables, linens, and chairs, and even glassware and stemware and plates and silver and things like that? Or is that something that you need to rent out from a rental company, or that they will rent for you? Every catering company is different, so you definitely want to ask this question. And if they do own all of those things, you want to see what options they have available for you in case you want to pursue other companies to see, other rental companies to see what they might have if you don't love what they have. And you also want to know, if they're renting it, how do you go about reserving and finding the linens and whatnot that you need? And will it be delivered to the caterer and the caterer will deliver it to the venue? Or are you responsible for managing that contract? Definitely ask those questions. Number 2, do they let you bring in your own alcohol? Okay, every caterer is different, and I can say that from the number of caterers that I've worked with and worked for, majority of them, at least here in Northern Virginia, do let you bring in your own alcohol, and the venues will just require you to have a 1-day ABC license. You can get that online. It's like $45. It takes 20 minutes to fill out or something. But if they do not allow you to bring in your own alcohol, you want to ask them, will you be charged per person, or will you be charged on consumption? Those can be very different. It can make your total very different at the end of the night. So make sure that you have a clear understanding where your alcohol is coming from and how you're going to be charged for it. Number 3, how much overage do you bring? So this is going to be mostly for your food. You want to know that if Aunt Susie didn't get the memo that she does not get a +1 or something, that her guest will still have a meal. Most caterers will provide about 5% overage for whatever your final guest count is. And do know that when you submit your final guest count to your caterer, that's usually due a week before, you cannot go down. You can only increase. The reason being, they've already purchased the food, they've already started prepping it, so they'll lose money. So when you're giving them your guest count, or like a tentative guest count, give them a lower number, knowing that you can always increase. And know how much extra they're going to have, so that you're confident that they're not going to run out and everybody will be taken care of. Number 4, can I drop off alcohol and candles, trinkets, give the little signs, all of that to you the week of? This is going to be different for every caterer. The ones that I've worked with, they typically allow you to do that, and this is a huge load off of your shoulders, particularly because it's one thing checked off your list that you don't have to do the day of, because you usually can't get into the venue until the day of, that morning of. And the alcohol, especially if you have 100 people at your wedding, that can be a big chunk of stuff. So you're going to need extra cars and things like that if you wanted to deliver that the day of. And so if you're allowed to bring your alcohol to the caterer and they'll take care of it, definitely take advantage of that and ask them, will they take all the little things too, your table numbers, maybe votive candles, signs, things like that. Ask if they'll take that and drop it all off, so that when your planner and your florist and everybody gets there, it will already be there. Question number 5. How many weddings do you do a weekend? This is really important to know, especially depending on the size caterer and the experience of the caterer that you're working with. If you are working with a smaller caterer and they're telling you we take 3 weddings a weekend, maybe maybe ask some deeper questions. Have they done that before? What's their experience with that? Catering, because again, it's such a big entity, there is a lot of prep that goes into it. There is a lot of staffing that goes into it. You want to make sure that the catering company that you're working with has enough staff to do 3 weddings in one weekend or 2 weddings in one day. So just ask how many weddings they'll book in a weekend and how many have they already booked for your weekend. And then last but not least, do you have a banquet manager and what is their role? The banquet manager is sometimes the salesperson that you've worked with that's helped you design the menu and run through the tasting with you. And sometimes it's somebody who will show, you'll meet, at the walkthrough, and they will be there to run everything the day of. They are typically the last person to leave. They should be running the staff. In my opinion, they should be running the staff and making sure that your servers are good to go. Everything is set up on the floor like you've discussed with them at the walkthrough and in previous emails and in the contract, that the bartenders are good to go, the floor plan is laid out the way it's supposed to, and that everything gets cleaned up at the end of the night. And when they check out with your wedding coordinator, it should just be check, 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 so that your security deposit is protected. So always ask, who will be my banquet manager the day of? What are their roles and responsibilities? And I am a firm believer in that person at your walkthrough the month before, so that you are comfortable with them. They know you have clear expectations between the 2 or the 3 of you, including your husband, and the floor plan and whatnot, and that you are good to go and ready to move forward. So if you found this helpful, please feel free to share with your friends or on your social media. And if you have anything that you would like to see me covered, I love getting your requests. This was a popular one, so I was excited to do this video, and I would be happy to help. I hope you all have a great Friday. Bye.